Becky isn't in the back of any of the pages. I'm sure they knew the result. Watford stage great escape. This is coming from 2-0 down to win 3-2 in extra time in the Cup semi-final. But the picture there is from Hong Kong, and it's the Ireland Rugby Sevens team having secured a place in the top division. Is that what happened?
In the World Cup, I think.
Yeah, in the World Cup. And then Gordon Strachan has lost his role as a pundit on Sky after his remarkable comments about Adam Johnson. If he goes out to the pitch and people start calling him names, have we got to do the same as it is to the racist situation? Is it all right to call him names now after doing his 3 years? Have we got to allow that to happen? The Gordon Strachan thing, I did think that when you're watching it live, you're like, or watching the repeat going, well, Strachan's going to have an interesting point here. It's like, you know, what did he say? What? Oh. But the backlash, T-minus 15 minutes for people going, oh, what? Can Gordon Strachan, does he not have freedom of speech? We're about 15 seconds away from that. Delafeo turns Watford fairy tale into a story of the mouse that roared. Well, that's an interesting headline. O'Leary unlikely to allow Tiger Roll bid for 3. Mixed reports in the newspapers today about whether or not we're going to see Tiger Roll potentially go for 3 in a row. I mean, it'd be a bit remarkable if they didn't at this point. But anyway, Sexton remains a doubt for big games to come, so injury concerns for Leinster.
The Mirror this morning goes with Feyu, what a scorcher. Deli Feyu turns his anger over snubbing. Well, like his name is Deli Feyu.
Few.
So, Few, what a scorcher. Let's go with that then. He turned his anger over snub into a stunning match-winning comeback as Hornets sting Wolves. And there's that photo I was mentioning, carried in a lot of the papers. National legend Tiger, ... rolls. And City boss Guardiola says, don't quaff, I want a quad. That's what Pep is saying this morning. Nearly impossible, he's saying.
Yeah, but nearly not. Okay, so the People's Horse is the front page headline on the Racing Post over a picture of Tiger Roll through the streets of Meath. 7 pages of Tiger Roll's homecoming, if you want to luxuriate in the glory of Tiger Roll this morning. Pictures of Eddie O'Leary, Michael O'Leary, and Gordon Elliott with the trophy and the money.
The Herald leads with the headline, what a comeback, Doherty goal not enough as Wolves crash out at Wembley. And De Bruyne says, I don't care about your new stadium. Trash talking Spurs.
Well,
saying everybody's got a stadium. If it was Wembley, there'd still be thousands and thousands of people there.
Yeah.
I don't care about the fact that your pint's filled from the bottom. It's going to have no bearing on the match, apparently.
The pint's filling from the bottom, not that big a deal. They have it everywhere. National hero. Racing's rock and roll star joins the sports immortals. It is pretty amazing. It was like so controlled a finish as well. Did you watch it?
Yeah, it was.
Did you back it?
I did not. A lot of people suggesting that it was a very, very unwise move to back a horse at that short odds for a Grand National.
It was. It was unwise, but also profitable.
Mm-hmm. You've made a lot of money off Tiger Roll, haven't you?
Well, Tiger Roll was part of our double a couple of years back. 3 Cheltenhams ago now at this stage, where completely unheralded. And it was on the first day, yeah. Stop. I didn't back it as much as everybody else did, and none of us had him backed when he made his seasonal debut, like 33-1, 3 races ago in like a small race. Was it Navan? He pissed off
Navan, I think, yeah.
50 lengths. You're like, why did everybody not back Tiger Roll that day?
The Sun this morning leads with terrific stuff. Delufeu turned game our way, says delighted boss Gracia. And in at the feet end, Seamus Coleman reckons the form enjoyed by Ireland and Everton is proof that positivity can pay off. The Toffees earned a 3rd win in a row yesterday, and speaking at Goodison Park afterwards, he said, you have to play on the front foot at all times. That's where the pun comes from. So playing on the front foot in at the feet end is where those two things match up. Unai ever so angry as Everton beat Arsenal 1-0.
They don't match up. They don't match up. In at the feet end does not match up with
playing on the front foot.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't match up.
They did play on the front foot. I was watching Jim Beglin describe Arsenal yesterday as snowflakey. I haven't really heard a team described as snowflakey by somebody, and I was kind of angry for a little while. Then I was like, actually, no, he's totally right.
And it's also genius.
Yeah, well, it is. I'm sure that Arsenal team love avocados and aren't actually saving for a mortgage either.
Doherty's despair. Wolves blow 2-0 lead to miss out on FA Cup final day. But Dubner again shows why Mick McCarthy should find a place for him in the Ireland starting lineup. It did strike me that, have we all forgotten about the beginning of Mick McCarthy's career as Ireland manager, when he would relentlessly play players out of position for like entire campaigns? Ian Hart was a centre-back as a 17-year-old. Roy Keane was also famously a centre-back for one game against Iceland. Why the hell now has he suddenly decided, no, we absolutely cannot ever play this player out of position?
Has he decided that? Because it seems to have been based on the fact that he deemed him to be the fall guy for a poor performance in Gibraltar, no?
I mean, yeah. There's one other last thing. I just want to... Dick Clerkin's talking about the age profile of the Dublin football team. You can skip the first two paragraphs because he says get to the point at the start of the third one. In 2011, Dublin won the first of their 6 All-Irelands in the 8 years since. 10 players involved in that breakthrough team are still part of Gavin's 5 in a row chasing panel. Cluxton, Philly, Mick Fitzsimons, Cian O'Sullivan, James McCarthy, Michael Darmacawley, Paul Flynn, Kevin McManaman, Bernard Brogan and Owen O'Gara. Throw in Diarmuid Connolly and Rory O'Carroll. And their collective achievements: 68 Celtic crosses, 28 All-Stars, 2 Players of the Year. They will have a combined average age of 33 by the time this year's All-Ireland final comes around. Is that too old? Are the Dubs too old? Is Dick Clerkin giving them dressing room bulletin board material?
We'll come back to that in just a moment, just to bring you through the rest of the back pages. The Irish Daily Mail leads with "Take it as read, O'Leary's Tiger Vow," and the Irish Daily Star goes with "Stinging." I'm really struggling with these Daily Fayu puns. Stinging the Dale.
Stinging the
Dale, because that rhymes with tail. Dale Fayu. Stinging the Dale. Buzzing Hornets, Stun Wolves. You see, this is what happens when Watford aren't on the back pages so often. This is the true meaning of the FA Cup. You get on the back pages and you get presenters in tongue twisters. People's Champion returns home then as well as the headline on the horse racing. O'Leary says treble bid though is very, very unlikely. And then Pep takes big pop at Poch. Pep Guardiola has told Tottenham that big clubs don't make excuses ahead of their Champions League showdown.
Deadly Few stuns Nuno. Fury at bench now fires Hornets 2 goal super. That's the English Daily Star. Deadly Few stuns what?
Yeah, like instead of Daily Fayu.
Deadly Few.
Deadly Fayu.
Okay. That's not as shit as it looked when I was reading it badly.
This is like the biggest snake pit of a pun situation I've ever been in.
Here's the Irish News. Not a pun on Watford. It's to do with Antrim GA. Harbinson frustrated at not having a place to call home. Casement saga, real hindrance to progress, says the Antrim boss. Lenny Harbinson, who is the Antrim football boss, is saying that the absolute nonsense around Casement is obviously significantly difficult for them. 6 years since they've had a stadium to call home.
What's going on there? I haven't been following this. As in, it's just constantly, there hasn't been any movement whatsoever since, since those pictures emerged last year of the overgrown ground.
Well, that's obviously 5 years into the 6-year process, so I don't think anything has changed in the last year. Where are we going? First few stories?
Well, let's just double back on the Dick Clerkin story. So an average age of 33 basically is the question of the 12 apostles that he calls. Now, to be fair, those 12 players do include Rory O'Carroll and Diarmuid Connolly. So perhaps you can bring that average age down a little bit. But he's right, isn't he? Like 33 is probably a tad too old to be a team-wide average age.
I think Connolly will be 33. And I think Rory O'Carroll will actually be bringing your age down, no?
Yeah, no, but then you're including all the other players you've listed off. So you're including Cluxton, McMahon, Fitzsimons, O'Sullivan, McCarthy, Michael Darmacawley, Paul Flynn, Kevin McManaman, Bernard Brogan, Owen O'Gara, and then Connolly and O'Carroll. The average age of them is 33.
Yeah, but if you bring in, you're including O'Carroll and just to be pedantic about it, including Connolly and O'Carroll is actually reducing the average age because they're both younger than the... Rory O'Carroll's only 29, and I'm pretty sure that... Yeah, no, obviously that's the case. Then, but like that's bringing it down to 33. I 31 actually.
Either way, that's injecting relative youth into the experienced cohort of players in the Dublin panel, which kind of adds to the sense that this is a bit of a no-brainer. Potentially, it is a bit of a no-brainer. Who knows what's actually going on at the moment? Like the fact is, how much of these players are they actually relying on? Like you have...
How many starters have you got?
Stephen Cluxton, starter. Philly McMahon, probably a starter. You can look at himself and Michael Fitzsimon's, one of them is going to be a starter. Keane O'Sullivan's going to be a starter, you'd imagine. James McCarthy's going to be a starter. Michael Darragh-Macaulay, probably in the balance of things, is going to be a starter. Paul Finn, not going to be a starter. Kevin McManaman, not going to be a starter. Bernard Brogan and Owen O'Gara, probably not going to be starters. So that's only 5, really. And then you have Diarmuid Connolly and Rory O'Carroll on top of that. So I'm giving them 5 starters on that. And suddenly then the whole idea of Father Time ticking away in Dublin doesn't look as severe as it might do. The thing is, like, it's not only the players who are in their pomp at the moment, the players between the ages of 26 and 28 that the clerk can say are in their peak athletic performance.
James McCarthy's 29. Just turned 29.
Yeah, he's probably still peak athletic performance.
Absolutely peak athletic performance.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's...
And also, where's the science behind the 26, 29?
Well, as I say, that's what the clerk is saying is peak athletic performance, but I don't know. I haven't obviously reached peak athletic performance yet, and I can't wait to reach it very, very shortly. Brian Fenton, Jack McCaffrey, Brian Howard, Kieran Kilkenny, like he mentions them here, they're all below that age, or just below that age. They're about to become peak players over the next couple of years, and then you add in the potential cohort of youngsters that are younger than that again. Like, Dublin are fine age-wise. It's just... Like, I wonder, is it possible for any human being to actually look at players of this quality with that amount of All-Ireland medals and actually treat them the same as other people in the squad? Like, are you really looking at Philly McMahon and Owen Merchant and saying to yourself, yeah, no, I'm 100% giving you guys an equal footing? It must be a little bit difficult to think that because of what Philly McMahon can do on the big day. Now, granted, Owen Merchant has had a pretty stellar start to his Dublin career.
But isn't Jim Gavin, Brian Cody the second version, and so therefore happy to cut people? Like, whenever he needs to.
Yeah, like I'm sure he is as cold as can be whenever he needs to be. But I don't know, I think there has to be some sort of human element in this, that you're thinking to yourself, we're going to saunter through Leinster. There's a possibility we could saunter through the Super 8s depending on how things go. There's 2 games here to win the 5 in a row. Who am I backing if it comes down to it? Is form going to come into it? Like, of course it's going to play a part, but I'm not sure. I think it's hard to not get sentimental, and sentimental isn't even the right word. It's based on past performances. There is kind of the learned experiences of being in ridiculously high pressure situations in Croke Park.
Yeah, okay, but so that's just using your managerial talents to go, I understand that we can get this person back to a peak on this one occasion against this one opponent and against this particular individual on that team or doing a particular role. That's just good management too. But there is a bit where you're like cutting people, which he seems to have done along the way here. There are players who don't make it back the next year who were key members of the team in previous seasons.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm obviously less of a cold man. I'm not cold enough to potentially make it into county management. I just think that those 2 things could potentially get confused. The idea of what actually is form and what actually is somebody who will actually make it on a big day.
Just coming up to 10 minutes past 8. Have you got one more final story for us?
Yeah, let's just mention Guardiola's comments, like fueling talk of unbelievable City quadruple almost. It's Miguel Delaney's piece this morning. He's added the word almost into his quotes about it being impossible to win a quadruple this season, and he repeated himself saying almost. He describes it a miracle that his players have stayed in contention this long, and to be fair, Miguel does point out that this isn't quite true, and that's even before you get into the fact that they're the most lavishly funded state project in the whole history of football, or that 2 teams in recent history have gone further. So the other 2 times this has happened was Chelsea, who were still in with a chance of winning a quadruple up until May the 1st in 2007. They ended up with both domestic cups on that occasion, and Manchester United went all the way until April 19th in 2009. They ended up with the League Cup and the Premier League. But according to Miguel here, sources close to the camp say they're pretty confident that they can go all the way here, that the quadruple is nothing to be sniffed at. It's nothing to be referred to as impossible. Like, the idea that he slipped in that word almost impossible is actually probably being generous to their opposition. Well, Manchester City quietly are extremely confident.
Yeah, of course they are. Well, they've got to beat Watford and they've got to win out in the league, and like, none of these are difficult to see them doing at this stage. Okay, so even if they draw with Manchester United, the likelihood is that Liverpool are going to drop some more points, so they can afford one slip up and still potentially probably win the league given their goal difference. They're going to beat Watford in the final, you would expect, because they're a vastly superior team to Watford, and that's 3 of your 4. So then it's just the Champions League that they have left. Like,
and lads, it's Spurs.
I mean, in a new stadium where they're a bit freaked out.
And they've got, I don't want to use a cliche, but the Kevin De Bruyne injury has allowed them to pace their season nicely, where he comes back into fitness and now he's coming back into form.
And a lot of their players have actually, the squad is so deep that actually those injuries have helped them. All right, that's it for your papers this morning.